I'll do 3, 2, 1, but you'll see it right there.
Yes,
You're right
sir.
there. I'm gonna get this logo fixed too. With friendly fire, it'll move next time. It should be a
But this
video
is pretty dope
transparent.
though. I like this. I like this layout. This is pretty dope. I like this. We can rock
Thank
like
you.
this. Yeah. As
Thank you.
always, Fabian doing his thing, coming into the clutch.
No, it's just let me tell you something. First of all, it's Fabian perspective, friendly fire,
Yes, 100%.
special guest like the special guest referee in wrestling. All we live
Hmm.
flee, and you know
I'm
what that
here.
meant.
I'm
The
here.
match is fixed.
I'm here. It's fake.
It's fixed.
It's fake.
Some bullshit is going down.
The
By the
fitness
way,
is, ladies and gentlemen.
I read your rules, YouTube. I ain't got if I don't curse in the first 7 seconds, you can't get me. I read the rules.
Okay. Well, let's
Anyone that's paying attention. All we need is 500 subscribers now. With
we're about
ar-
60 seconds in.
exactly. You paying attention, Flea.
We're
I
good to
told you
go.
earlier in the DM, your math is
Yeah.
immaculate.
Immaculate. 2 + 2 = 4, man. Come on now.
2 + 3 = 4. Now we could don't do that. I'm trying to transition.
I'm here. I'm ready. Talk to me.
He's ready to go. Of course you're ready, because you know what you're ready for. It's what we always
Man,
talk
listen.
about. Them Knicks,
Listen,
big
man.
off season, big season, finishing the
Hmm.
second round, going into the off season. Shout out beloved, as Bernardo would say. Shout out Bernardo. All boards going
Beloved.
crazy. Beloved. He doesn't think we should trade anybody but RJ Barrett. I think everyone bought Julius Randle. I think you were pro Donovan Mitchell
I've
and
always been pro Donovan Mitchell.
which
Hmm.
leads me to believe what I think you would say with Bradley Beal apparently being available and might want to come to the Knicks, and the Knicks showing interest themselves. I would think since we couldn't get Donovan Mitchell, you would want Bradley Beal this summer.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Let me hear
Bradley.
this, please.
Yeah. Well, let's put some things in perspective real fast. Washington isn't a good ball club, right? They haven't been good for a couple of years. I think the last time they made the playoffs was when Westbrook was there, and Westbrook played really well next to Brad, right? That they made the
And
playoffs. They
vice
looked
versa.
very. I liked the way they looked together, right? So my take on Brad Bill. Brad's a guy that's led the league in scoring, back-to-back 30-point a night years. Like, guys don't do that. There's not a lot of guys that you can name off the top of your head right now that average 30 in back-to-back seasons, right? So Brad could fill it up. And Brad is a guy that doesn't need the basketball to score. You know what I mean by that. He doesn't need the basketball to score, which means he could pass to get guys open. He's passing to get it back in the rotation of the game. You know what I'm saying? He's not just call my number and let me go get it. He could do that, but he's not that. And I think adding that next to Jalen Brunson, who was another guy that, okay, we saw Jalen Brunson at his best next to Luka, right? Another ball dominant guy, but Jalen looked great next to him. Brad is a guy that's not going to be ball dominant. I think those two guys next to each other, man, I mean, where would you rank them in terms of backcourts in the league potentially? Brad Beal and Jalen Brunson together. How does that look next to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, next to De'Aaron
Steph
Fox?
Curry, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson is currently just Steph Curry. I hate to break it to you, Golden State Warrior fans. Klay Thompson is in and out. You'd
Klay
rather
Thompson
have
had the
Bradley Beal at this point.
oh, Klay Thompson statistically had his best year of his career this past season, which is
He's not
crazy.
doing that.
People don't even
No,
realize that.
no.
Had his best
What?
year, made the most threes, shot one of the highest percentages from three in his career, Fabian. So we could say he's not that. Obviously, he's not what he was 5 years ago, 4 years, 6 years ago. But Klay Thompson over
He
Bradley
hasn't.
Beal right now.
There's no way. I mean, he hasn't recovered from the
But
injury like let's say Durant. Like KD
right,
recovered from his injury on a different level. He's still injury prone, but he's at a high level still. Bradley Beal ain't. I mean, Klay Thompson isn't what he was, and that's the only
he's
reason
not.
why. So
What is Bradley Beal now, though? How many games can we rely on Brad Beal? We don't know. The last few
right,
seasons, he has played a max of 50 games a year. I mean, I don't know. What is that? What is Brad going forward? He got the max 250 over 5. So he's getting paid $250 million.
next to Jalen Brunson, I was so against the Donovan Mitchell trade because of the amount of assets you can hold on to that. I don't see how much we can improve with Bradley Beal there, even
His
though they
dollar's not
both
high though, Faye. His
his
dollar. What Washington wants right now for him are picks and salaries that match. So they're not really looking for a guy to replace him. They're not really looking for another 30-point scorer, another 25-point scorer. They're looking for some valuable picks and salaries that match. Because once the salaries match, if they get salaries that match and expiring, that's perfect for them for what they're trying to do. Because now they're going to go into the rebuild mode. They're not going to re-sign KP. They're probably not going to re-sign Kuz. They already said Kuz is going on the free agent market. They're not going to sign and match or get, they're not going to bring him back. So they're going full rebuild mode. His dollar amount and his price isn't high. Miami has on the table right now Hero, uh, Jokic, one of the other Serbian guys over there, and 2 first-round picks. That's what they're offering them right now. Sacramento is in play right now. But I would almost be sure that Keegan Murray is a part of that deal. I don't know if I want to give up Keegan Murray for Bradley Beal right now.
I mean, Keegan Murray.
Go take a look at Keegan Murray right now.
He damn near has a unibrow.
You're watching.
That's some Al. That's like an Albie Shore. So
yeah, that's like right.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, bro.
If I'm Sacramento, you're right there. I'm gonna get there soon. We're gonna get to that next topic of who I'm disgusted with. 2 players this playoffs I'm disgusted with. One of them is Sabonis because he ruined. Sabonis ruined my Kings prediction. They could have been in the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets, and they could have beaten the Nuggets.
You had the Kings in 7 against Golden State, I think. I have that right?
I'm not sure what I had them. I'm not sure what I had them.
Kings in 7 when they in the first round. I'm almost sure you had Kings in 7. Almost sure.
I had them going to the championship of talent, of 3 levels of scoring. Bradley Beal fits in that lineup. Defensively,
I love him. I love him.
He wouldn't be great, especially if Sacramento can add more players. But again, it's the Knicks, Brunson with Bradley Beal. It's a smaller lineup, and the smaller lineup doesn't concern me as much as the defense. That's what it all boils down to. We have to make up for all that. Like Mitchell Robinson, we have a lot to address, to be honest. Like Mitchell Robinson, him being injury prone is going to hover over.
Well, I think guys like Josh Hart, guys like Quentin Grimes, guys like those guys who are defenders, who are going to still be put out there to defend. Tibbs is going to rely on those guys to defend. And with the potential of having Brad Beal on our team, Tibbs is going to challenge him. Brad's not 30 yet. Brad's about to be 30 once this season is up. He's 29 years old, going to be in a new environment, brand new team. Wherever he
Bradley
goes,
Beal?
this will
about to be. It'll be 30 in 12 days. Sorry.
Okay, so in 12 days. So okay, like I said, once the season's over, he'll still be 30. So I fully expect another coach to challenge him, though, Fabe. Like wherever he goes, he has to be challenged. One, to stay healthy. Two, to play like the play he's capable of playing like. He's a three-time All-Star, a guy who's led the league in scoring, back-to-back 30-point games a year, a night. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a guy that you expect a lot out of. So wherever he goes, whether that be Miami with Spo's going to challenge him. Jimmy's going to challenge him. Pat Riley's going to challenge him. He go out to Sacramento. Mike Brown is going to challenge him. He goes to the Knicks. Thibodeau is going to challenge him. He's got to stay on the floor. But I think whoever picks him up, they grabbing something. They grabbing something.
I don't think he brings you to another level. I think he's an addition. He's better than everybody on Miami besides Bam and Jimmy Butler, right? But imagine him in that rotation this playoffs, he would have helped crazy. Like he's Tyler Hero has that.
Exactly what they was missing, Fabian.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at the offense get bogged down and they start sitting on that Jimmy Butler pump fake, when they start sitting on that, and it's again, this is not to get into that whole knock on Jimmy thing, but just the fact that his bag is not very deep and he's not like a fluid basketball player. He's ascended to who he is. But once that go-to pump fake, once his go-to moves, he's getting to his spots, and Denver played great defense on him. They was taking away a lot of the shit that he liked to do. Man, you got to have another guy that can create. You got to have another guy to go get a bucket. Jimmy's not got it going. He's running out of gas. Brad, take me home. Now you got
also,
Brad Bill. Like
you mentioned Westbrook, and that's what Westbrook and Brunson have in common. Where Brunson can dribble the ball 1,000 million times too. He holds on to the ball a lot. He's a ball stopper, ball dominant guard.
Yeah.
But Bradley Beal clearly plays well off of that. Why? Because he has the off-ball movement, which I always talk about with the difference between Kyrie and Steph Curry. Is that probably and passing slightly, but really it's off-ball. Bradley Beal has that. You add that to he's. I mean, imagine if Denver whiffs at a Bradley Beal. We'll go, wait a minute, he's available. You understand what I'm saying? You can't trade Jamal Murray. You obviously got to keep Aaron Gordon. Imagine they say, you know what? We're done with the Michael.
We'll take Michael Porter Jr.
We'll take Michael
Porter Jr. Right? We'll take Michael Porter Jr. Add in Christian Braun, who played well. So now you know. Listen to me. Listen to me. You got to just make the money work. At this point, got to make the money work. Michael Porter Jr. is making a shit ton of money, so the money's going to work. You may have to just add another guy in there. All right, so I just don't want to take away too much of who they are defensively. So I would not like them to lose Bruce Brown. I wouldn't like them to lose Christian Braun, the rookie. He's going to keep ascending. But if they could do Michael Porter Jr., what else is on that roster that's worth?
As long as you keep Gordon there, and I think they would want to add defensively. But
so you know what? That's fine. If Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and whatever kind of picks we have.
Right. And we're just going around the league. To me, these are teams that are already on the cusp. The Lakers, say what you want, Western Conference Finals, period. They didn't have a guy like this. The Lakers are missing that guy. Again, it goes to health.
It's another spot that's interesting for him. We also got to remember that his wife is a socialite, and so that is going to matter where they go. And I mean that respectfully. Like she's in that, serial entrepreneur, socialite, Bradley and his family got a whole YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying, chronicling what they do. So I'm just saying the market and where he goes. If he's leaving Washington, Miami, New York, LA are all in play. All in play.
First of all, I didn't know that. That's number one.
Well, I'm just,
Listen, that's called bochinche in Spanish in Dominican. We say
put me on. What is that?
What TJ means the gossip. That's the T.
Okay.
So for me,
Okay.
I didn't know
Okay.
that. I had no idea about
Okay.
that.
But
But that
that
makes a
stuff
lot of sense.
matters though, Fabian. You know what I'm saying? That stuff matters within these kind of guys. This generation, how these guys operate, clearly that matters.
Because he's more like Dame with the whole I'm taking the money regardless. Like I don't know what we're doing here in Washington, but give me the he maxed out. John Wall
Yeah.
maxed out.
But they try to blame that or try to justify taking the money, which is a shit ton of money. Like I said, $250 million, that's a lot of money. But they attach the I'm signing the contract with I'm staying loyal, right? When you know that the situation isn't the best for you basketball wise, but business wise, money wise, setting your life up, kids, that type of you can't leave that money on the table. That was Melo's issue. A lot of different guys run into that, signing the big deal, and it may not be best for them long term. Melo could have been a part of that Miami team had he not signed that 5-year deal.
But I don't. The loyalty thing is not gonna. It matters for young fans. The older you get, you understand. Like that's just there's politics involved. But I just
Mm-hmm.
mean the fact that he's stuck somewhere. It feels like, and he was
Yeah.
in the same like we never thought. We always thought it was like Dame had C.J. McCollum, Bradley Beal had John Wall, and I don't know why you guys are trying to create this fake Stephen Clay. It's not gonna work. None of us thought it was gonna work. Dame had a good run with C.J. McCollum in Western Conference Finals. Yeah, that was nice, but it wasn't going to be this dynasty run that we saw. None of you guys are Steph. So with Bradley Beal, he just fits in so many places, and he is. I don't know that floor. People use the floor raiser, ceiling raiser bullshit. I don't understand that, but he's just so complimentary to all these teams that are right there. Look, all the conference finalists. Boston, he would be crazy on Boston.
I mean,
He would have been.
it's no secret that him and Jason Tatum would love to play together. Both guys from St. Louis, both guys grew up with each other. Obviously the whole story of, Bradley Beal babysitting Jason Tatum as kids and shit like that. Like they have a connection, from their St. Louis ties. So there's no secret there that, Boston would love to have Brad Beal. And to be honest with you, a sign and trade will probably work. Because now you sign Jaylen Brown and send him to Washington. And now Washington has their piece on what they're building around for the future. You bring in Bradley Beal and, you go from there. If
I
you're
didn't
going
think
to
about
break
trading
those up,
Jaylen Brown.
break those guys
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I didn't think about trading Jaylen Brown because they're missing something there in Boston to break all that up. Or like how I hated the Miami Heat offense, the half court offense, especially when it was LeBron and D Wade there. It reminds me of that, but they don't have that knockdown shooter in Boston that would really spread the floor and kill everything. It provides a spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the Knicks, that's what he ultimately provides. Even with as pissed as we get with Julius Randle, the way he just can't read any defenses, it seems like at least he would have more spacing with a Bradley Beal on there. And Jalen Brunson, of course, going back to his Dallas days, you get more spacing because that's really what hurt Jalen Brunson. He didn't have anybody to spread that floor.
It just opens up the floor way more. You get another shooter. You get a knockdown shooter, a guy that's going to fill it up, right? We don't have that right now. We don't have a guy that could, get hot from three and possibly hit 5-6 threes in a quarter, right? Bradley Beal's that type of player. We don't have that. We don't have any floor spaces. We don't have any guys that's going to open the paint up for Julius Randle. We get a floor spacer, Fabian. Mitchell Robinson's game goes to the next level. And hear what I'm saying. We get a floor spacer. We get a guy that opens the floor up and allows him to have more space to even think about taking his game to the next level and adding something to his bag. He can't do that right now. Shit is too clogged. We got Julius Randle in the paint too much. He can't even think about adding to what we do offensively. Lobs, yeah. Putbacks, yeah. Cleaning the offensive glass, yeah. But dumping it down to Mitchell Robinson and say, hey, go get me a bucket, Mitch, he can't do that right now because everything that Julius gets is in the paint. It's too clogged in there for him. Mitch can't even think about that right now. We get a guy that opens the floor up, we get more options. That's all I'm saying.
So with Mitchell Robinson, it's always going to be health number one. Number two, he's limited on offense, and he ain't no damn Tyson Chandler. That's just, and we saw it against the Heat. Like I was thoroughly disappointed with the Heat.
I always feel like if Mitchell Robinson dedicated himself to just being who exactly he is, why can't he be Joakim Noah at Joakim's peak?
Because that's not who he is. Like, and again, I'm always gonna go back to this. His personality is not that. Julius Randle, his personality is not. We see what he could be. He is probably, I don't know if he's scared about what he could be, but we see what he could be. Mitchell Robinson, I think he plays to his potential. Like, I don't think Mitchell Robinson lacks effort. I think he really tries. He's just, his body's not built like that. And he really plays towards what they want him to do, and they drafted him for that reason, and they kept him around for that reason. The offensive rebounding was key. But again, it's the health, and I'm gonna totally contradict myself as I transition to get Julius Randle out of here with RJ Barrett. Go take both of them. You could trade them for Zion immediately. Because do we want to be in this friend zone, fun zone, where we don't know what's gonna happen? We don't even have a bunch of B-rated players like the Miami Heat. They showed you what they can do if you maximize your effort and potential with your B-level players. We couldn't even do that because Tibbs is not doing that. We don't have that kind of culture, right? At least with Zion at the helm, we got a bunch of drama, something to talk about. And when he's on the court, say what you want. I know you hate to call him a superstar, but he is flat out dominant. And to have Jalen Brunson there would be something. It would be something. What do you think about these Zion rumors? Would you pull the trigger? And if you would, who would you be willing to part with?
Zion hasn't proven to me yet that he cares about what it takes to be great. He's a great player. When he's on the court, he's a great player. 26 a game, 7.5 rebounds a game at his peak so far. But he hasn't proven yet to me that he cares about being great, taking care of his body, staying in shape, just being available. So that's a huge question mark for me for a guy who would say whatever you want, but he has been a two-time All-NBA, two-time All-Star. We don't like a lot of the things that he does, but he has been a big reason for our success in Julius Randle. He has. And he's a guy that is reliable. He plays. 75 games or better, right? He's playing. He's out there. So, yes, Zion is younger. Yes, Zion is electric. Yes, Zion is box office. Yes, Zion brings so much stuff to the Garden, to New York City. But there's a huge question mark on if this dude cares about being great. That's my issue with him. I don't care nothing about. He's a great player. Yeah, that's easy. Anybody that thinks he's not, you're bugging. You're not watching the game. He's immensely talented. He's a freak athlete. Nobody's in the league right now is like him. But it's dicey. It's dicey, Fabian. It's dicey. I don't know if I can trust this kid yet. And it sucks because that's the. I know this is not one of the topics, man, but that's a big issue with these kids nowadays. Can you trust them? Can you trust them to give a damn about playing the game of basketball on that level?
So, unlike in previous years where you have McDice, which is what traumatizes us, Larry Johnson, Who else am I thinking of that were injury prone that came to the Knicks? We were like, what are we doing?
Oh man, plenty guys. We went and got Steve Francis. We went and got Penny Hardaway. We went and got the list is extensive. List is
So this is
extensive.
also what makes Zion interesting.
Okay.
He's set to have a 5-year, $194 million contract extension, but it's not fully guaranteed, which is what I think me and you were going over there. Maybe Turbo, shout out to Turbo, with the Chris
Shout out to
Paul
Turbo.
deal.
It's his birthday too. Happy birthday to Turbo.
Happy birthday! It was yesterday. Happy belated. Well,
Mm.
no, I spoke to him yesterday. So it's no longer guaranteed, and it's because he did not, to your point, did not meet the criteria. Specifically, not meeting the games threshold. So that's crazy, right? But a deal becoming partially guaranteed does not give the team any immediate salary relief. The full value of the contract for each season is still on the salary cap. However, should the team waive the player, only the guaranteed amount would stay on the cap. Okay. I think that makes it interesting, or more interesting.
For who?
For the Knicks, because depending on what the Pelicans are interested in, they're gonna have to go after Scoot Henderson. Depends where they land with that. If Zion has some leverage and goes, I want the Knicks. If he really does want to come to the Knicks, as he's supposedly reported, which was his dream to go on draft night. He's always talking about the Garden, excited about the Garden when he does play here, and the topic comes up.
He loved playing with RJ and Duke.
That's his guy, right?
Right.
So you can't part ways with RJ Barrett. I would think that they would keep him, and you would trade Julius Randle straight up. And I don't know how that would work, but if there was a chance, then yeah, I would definitely go after him. He's just too electric, and I think it's worth it because that would come off the books, especially if he's hurt. It would come off the books, and it would. And the Julius Randle deal, and whatever other deals you can come off the books, I would go with that. I just would, because what's our cap right now?
I would have to take a look at our books. I don't know what our money looks like, but I do know that we have money to sign a free agent this summer. We can go after somebody. We do have to give Josh Hart some money. He's a guy that we have to sign. But we're not jammed up. We have flexibility. So I think we could be in a position to make a play at somebody. The free agent list is not pretty this summer. There's not a lot of there's a lot of guys that can help you win. You know what I'm saying? That's those kind of guys. There's a lot of glue guys. There's a lot of guys. There's some shooters out there. Good additions to your ball club, but there aren't any franchise changers gonna be out there. Even James Harden, potentially being a free agent, he's not a franchise changer anymore. So the Knicks got some. We got some options.
Chris Middleton,
shooter, Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield's a free agent?
Yes.
He's another interesting guy because I've seen him go off. He has the most, I want to say he has the highest the most amount of 3-pointers since like 2019 or something crazy.
Mm-hmm. Fastest to 300 threes or 500 threes since Steph or some crazy shit like that. So it's a wild stat. I'm not accurate, but it's a wild stat that when you start making getting talked about next to Steph and 3-point shots and all that kind of stuff, like you're a shooter. So Buddy Hield's another guy that I expect the Lakers to be going after. Definitely.
That makes sense. But he would just be he's a real lightning rod. He's just very streaky.
He needs shooting, Fabian.
And he doesn't hesitate. Like he pulls up from wherever, and I'm always confident when he shoots.
Yeah, because he shoots it confidently. older
Yeah.
player, came in the NBA like a 3 or 4 year player in college. So, older game. His game is a little older. So I think anybody that picks him up that's gonna be a good move for them.
That's a definite. And real quick, we haven't even talked about the other like Knicks free agents. So, or IQ Emmanuel quickly is up for a contract extension, and this
Yep.
is the Athletic. They asked a bunch of GMs, or we polled 15 people who work in front offices across the NBA. The largest proposed salary that they talked about was 27.5 million, 110 million over 4 years. 3 others suggested 9-figure contracts, 5 years, 125 million. So that's around 25 million a year. So there's a $100 million being thrown around.
That's gonna be the market for IQ.
For IQ.
I don't know if we're gonna do that.
Right, the extension, because we don't have to extend them, and we need another year with that. And make that 3 players. I'm disappointed with this playoffs. I'm heavily disappointed in IQ. This I know he sprained his ankle in the Miami series, but he didn't show up for one game.
He didn't show up. He didn't show up, Fig. He did not show up. He did not show up. And I love me some Emmanuel quickly. I know you love IQ too, but he did not show up this playoffs. I was disappointed in him because he came through in some very, very key moments during this season, right? When we really needed a guy to step up. There was a game in Boston. We was on the road this year, and he had like 35 or something like that, but hit a lot of big baskets down the stretch. And really, I love IQ, but his dollar amount is going to be too high for us for what we're trying to do. It's going to jam us up. It's not going to allow us flexibility going forward. So, and Giannis is free next summer. So,
is he?
He is. Oh, he can.
That's what we're aiming. So that's what we're aiming for, right?
I just wanted to throw that out there.
You can scrap everything I said about Zion. What the hell are we talking about? Listen, man, we'll keep Julius Randle. You keep all of that.
Fabian said, is he? Oh yeah, scrap everything, man.
Everything. No. You scrap everything for Giannis, because Giannis, he doesn't want to be
franchise changer. Franchise changer. We're gonna see this year, Fabian, with this new coach. We're gonna see how he responds with them getting a new coach in there. A new young coach, first time head coach. Giannis is already a champion. So he's already stayed faithful. Milwaukee's got a championship already. So we're gonna see. But
I'm a Giannis fan. Like when I tell you I don't love his game at all. I hate his game. He is just maybe the least skilled superstar of all time. Like if he's probably anyone's top 25 right now. There's no way you could tell me he's more skilled.
Not in anyone's top 25 right now.
No, he's probably in everyone's top 25 right now.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right, but again, this is where you love Kobe. You got Kobe over Mike, and I'm always gonna stay consistent with this. Dominant is dominant. Yes. Dominance is dominance. There's only one reason why I had Giannis over AD a couple years ago, and I thought it was him and AD and Giannis neck and neck. There's only one reason why you would pick Giannis over Joker right now, even though Joker won the championship and he's on his probably the favorite for the MVP next year. He's relentless. His motor. How many offensive fouls does he get away with? He doesn't care. Like, that's the part about Julius Randle that's just like, bro, if you did that, you'd be on another level. If you didn't care, like, show that against the opponent. Giannis does that, and I just love everything about him. Did you see the clip with him and Serge Ibaka when Serge Ibaka called him? I forgot who was there at the Serge Ibaka show. He was like, "Yo, bro, I just took a nap," and he said, "Yeah, I can do that because you're a role player. Your job is to rebound and set picks." like I'd imagine. I hope that's the way I come off. Like, hopefully, show some leadership and just be able to joke around, throw a shot, and just let you know, like, he's competitive. That shit is he's competitive. That's what he's showing you.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So it ain't about skill. He's just showing you dominance that way, and that's why you go all in for that. That's why. Hold on, let's not move nothing. Forget you. We don't gotta do nothing, Leon Rose. We don't. I'll do another year of this. I'll go through the frustration, go through the motions. They roll this out and go for Giannis next year just to go all in for Giannis.
He'd be a god in New York City if we won a championship. A
Oh my
god
yes.
in New York City. Do you
Do you think he?
understand?
Do you hold on? Because you're the one that pointed this out. It almost went damn near viral. It almost got us over the hump, by the way. And you may and look, Joker follows it right up and just proves your point
Right up, right up.
with the interview. The Europeans, people out of America, they don't care about being a Hollywood celebrity. They don't care for
I
that.
don't care
You
about that
know,
shit.
Joker saw the parade happening. He was like, wait a minute, I take that back about the parade. But he was so carefree about just basketball in general. People compared it to
Right.
how when Kyrie would say the same thing, but it's something different with them. The different tone to Joker saying that and Giannis just feeling all totally authentic when they say these things. I forgot my point where I was going with that, Flea. But Joker
No, it
proved your
was
point.
just it was just proving my point about those guys, just being grateful for the moment, right? Just being grateful for being here, right? A lot of those foreigners, they come over here and just are grateful for the opportunity, one, to play the game of basketball, and two, obviously, to make a boatload of money, right? So, you know, I'm looking at Joker, uh, after the game, and he's happy, but you can see that it's not phasing him that he's won an NBA championship. It's not something that I'm sure it was a goal. I'm sure he's dedicated to winning, but it just basketball is not their entire life, and he said that. Just basketball is not my entire life, and I admire guys that have balance, right? When you're able to have balance and still have the level of appreciation that these guys have, there's still a purity for them. When you listen to Giannis talk the game, Joker talk the game, Luka talk the game, Manu talk the game. When you hear those type of guys talk the game of basketball, there's a level of passion that they talk about it without without all the flair and the histrionics and all that shit. They talk about that shit with a level of passion that is like they love the game, right? I'm not saying, the American born players don't. Just the foreign players, it's up front. When I see an American born player, I see your brand first before I see, okay, what type of ball player are you? These foreigners, I'd say, okay, this dude is nice. Okay. He could hoop. So that's just really how I look at it.
It speaks to the elitism of Americans, us. I'm a first generation American. I almost fell for that, the flim flam, thinking that
Mm.
you don't have to you don't have to work at McDonald's or we look at certain jobs. Listen, they come here, people who come immigrants. Their immigrant mentality is what America is built off of. Built off of that. Like, what do we? Anybody? I don't want to get political because people are crazy,
Mm.
but that's what this is. Your parents came from somewhere. Ain't none of us Native American, so they keep
Mm.
that tradition alive. But that's part of the reason why I think Joker and Giannis might not be interested in New York. He ain't interested in having a statue in New York City. You know what I mean? Because you said that and pointed that out, I'm like, damn, he might that's not what motivates him. What motivates him is just this innate, just work ethic of being great and coming from the other side of the world where real, true struggle, you experience it, you acknowledge it, and it really pushes you in a anti-romantic way. Like they don't romanticize this. They show it through more work. And I think that would be the gripe. Also, the flip side to that, not for nothing, it's easier for Joker. This is the part that nobody ever says. Nobody talks about this. It's easier for Joker and Giannis to say that when they don't have to deal with being a celebrity. Even Kyrie is a celebrity in a sense that they go to the club, they go outside, it's over. They're getting mauled because, like Allen Iverson, Will Chamberlain was probably the first to deal with this versus Bill Russell. Bill Russell had to deal with hate, which is that's an incredible, that was a crazy pressure to deal with. But Will Chamberlain was the man everywhere he went. He was a celebrity. So that level of attraction, Bill Russell really didn't have to deal with that. Like even Kobe versus Iverson, like Iverson was he was a god because he was a street dude and he He was like a rapper. He was a rock, or he was a rock star.
Yeah,
They
word.
didn't. So if you're a Joker, you don't have to deal with that. That's a different level of temptation. Like, you are God to these people, and I could get whatever I want, and that's part of the thing. Like, I don't want to get deep dive too much into it. Like, John Morant's going through that right now. There's a level of return on that
But
investment, or
this,
just
but see, it's a choice though, Fabian. For me, it's a choice to embrace that or not. Giannis has a shoe deal. Giannis has a couple commercials. Has Giannis doesn't have a high profile like some of these other guys, but he's in the mix a little bit because he understands the landscape a little bit now. He wasn't like that initially, but he's starting to understand what the landscape is, how he's going to be able to leverage what he brings to the table, right? And I'm a big believer in the quote unquote basketball gods, right? Now, hear me out for a second. Basketball gods, right? Why wouldn't the basketball gods align if he did decide to come to New York? That's the perfect guy to win a championship in New York. A guy that's not looking for the spotlight, a guy that's not looking for the glitz and the glam and the fame and the adulation and the recognition if he brings a championship to New York. What he's going to say, I was able to make history. The dude sat out after he lost and said, were the first 50 years a failure in Milwaukee? No, it takes steps. But now we have one. And now I'm trying to get another one. Right? That's how his mindset is. He wins one in New York and we happen to lose the next year. He's like, well, what were the last 50, 40 years? A failure? No. I came here. I brought a winning culture. I won one. And now we're trying to win another. Like, so I just feel like a guy like that would be able to be aligned with, you know, the luck that it takes to win a championship, but also the motor, the resilience that he has, just how he approaches the game. I would love him in New York, man. Would love him.
So I think what you just described was, and it was a perfect transition to how to end that topic.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why Iverson didn't take as much of a rock star he is, legend, influential. I think he's in the conversation damn near with Jordan
Iconic,
and Doc.
iconic,
Yeah,
iconic.
I think he's above Steph Curry in terms of influence. I think it's Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Iverson's in there somewhere, and Steph Curry's in there too. But
Chuck is in there.
what Iverson, the reason why he's not in the Jordan conversation is because, like you just said, what Giannis, Tim Duncan, Steph Curry's a rock star too, but they
Yeah,
embraced the work ethic. They knew, like, hold on, yeah, that's cool, but for some reason, Steph Curry's religious. They embrace the I don't know, the humility of it.
that right there.
Just
That right there, Fabian. The humility, the level of humility that it takes to be an NBA superstar, right? We could get into that bag. The humility that it takes to be an NBA superstar, to carry the weight that it comes with, and then not only being able to pour into the work that it takes. And that goes back to what I was saying about Zion. Like, if he was a guy that was on the floor, if he was a guy that's been consistently playing since he came into the league, we would not be talking about him getting a stripper pregnant. We would not be talking about him, Mariah Milk. Like, that wouldn't be a huge topic of conversation, right? About him, because we'd be talking about, damn, he led his team to the, he led his team deep into the play, do a playoff run. He's a two-time All NBA player. He's made, he's been an all-star, all of these kind of things, right? We would be able to talk about, but we can't talk about that with him because he's not available. So, you know what I mean? Like, these guys are available. I very seldom agree with my namesake Colin Cowherd. Very, very seldom agree with him. But he says something about these foreign players as opposed to these American born players, and it was spot on, man. It was spot on. These guys are playing against grown men, from the age of 14, 15, 16 years old. They approach the game very differently. The bravado and the flair to the game is not at the forefront. It's in there. Luka got that in his game, but it's not at the forefront on how they approach the game. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of just loving the game. American-born players love the game too, but there's a lot of bratty bullshit that comes with us, and there's a lack of maturity because, as you said, going back to the elitism that we carry with ourselves here. It's twofold, man, and it's really it's we could really pull back the layers with that shit, but just being able to watch. Very seldom do you get a Tim Duncan, right? Very seldom do you get a Tim Duncan. Very seldom do you get a LeBron James. What I mean by being able to carry and handle the fame and have a level of humility, right? Keep your nose clean. Give back to your community. Do all the right things. A lot of these athletes don't even know how to do all the right things. It's very seldom you get these guys. And the foreign players are coming over here and they proving that they, can do all the right things. These guys don't get in trouble. They don't, Faye. What are they? Like,
or they found a right way to do the wrong thing, like that. But that comes with
they keep a job. They
right?
know how to keep a job.
But keeping
How
your
many
nose
teams
clean.
did Zaza Pachulia play for?
Right.
He know how to keep a job. We could say what we want about him, but he know how to keep a job.
They're humble. They're humble enough. Like,
yeah,
there's something to like with Carmelo. I don't care what he says, bro. Like, it's something to it where I don't know, bro. I just smell it on you. Like, you just the American. That's what we do. We just sometimes our swagger is just, and maybe he doesn't realize like, wait, what did I do? It's just like, I hate to break it to you, you just got too much swag. I don't know.
Yeah,
but Joker and Giannis do have that in common, and they also have in common that the first couple of years in the league, they were working their way into becoming this. And we didn't like. I have a tweet from years ago, like, "Yo, this Giannis Antetokounmpo guy is, I don't know what this is gonna be. He looks crazy." Joker, I didn't know he was gonna be great until 4 years ago. Which leads to the conversation which you asked, and Allball's been asking, and I think a bunch of people were just because he won the championship. Is Joker a top 5 center all time? And if he's not, why not? And I think that's why for me. Before I let you go, the first 3-4 years in the league, it's incomparable, if that's the word, how you say it, to Shaq, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Akeem, Will, all these guys. In the numbers, you could tell alone, they came in the league and it was an immediate impact. The only conversation Joker has is at his peak, which is he's in right now. Maybe he's at the beginning of it. He's 27 years old. But top 10, he's a definite by now, right?
I think he's top 10 lock already.
Can we go through the names?
Yeah, let's play around with this a little bit. Let's do this. I think this is what we was looking forward to. So let's do this. So
number 1 is Kareem, probably for everyone.
But let's be fair. Let's just not even do an order. Let's just do a group. Let's do a group, because I think an order. My order would probably be different than your order. You know what I'm saying? Let's just do a group. Top 10 guys.
Okay.
Like you said, Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think Shaquille O'Neal has to go in top 10.
Right.
I think Dream, Hakeem Olajuwon has to go top 10. I think Wilt Chamberlain has to be top 10. Like, he's the record smasher, right?
Right.
You start people when you're in the record books next to Wilt Chamberlain, you start doing Wilt Chamberlain shit. That's high. So Kareem, Shaq, Dream, Wilt.
The guy that I always throw him out there and nobody talks about him. The most underrated, super duper anybody's top 20, Moses Malone.
I think Moses. I think I would have to agree with you with Moses being in the top 10. I think that's no question. think that's no
Easily
question. I
top.
need to get something. We talking about top 10 centers of all time. I need to get something on wax right now. I told you this privately. We had a private conversation, but I need to get this on record. I was on we had another show a couple days back, and I proceeded to slander Artist Gilmore's name on the internets. And I need to walk that back. Zach, if you see this, Dime, if you see this, all my historians, all my guys that love the history of the NBA, right? I truly apologize. I'm sorry for that awful take that I had on Artist Gilmore. I called my pops, who is my, my confidant, my resident historian. I call him on everything. And I call him, I say, "Oh, Dad, talk to me about Artist Gilmore. Hey, kid, FaceTime me. FaceTime me. You need to FaceTime me." I said, "Oh, it's that type of comment. Okay." And he proceeds to talk about the effect that he had on the game in the ABA first, and then the type of player he was on the NBA level. Strong as an ox, block shots, was like, he compared him to, right before his time, a Larry Nance type athlete. You know what I'm saying? Being able to jump, being able to block shots, 11-time All-Star, a Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year in the ABA. That's some tough stuff right there. So I need to take a moment to shout out to Artist Gilmore. My sincerest apologies.
Probably a top 20, 25 center of all time. And all I was trying to explain to Zach and them is that I probably have some awful takes if I'm being, because a lot of times you feel like this is different. It's one-on-one. I could let you finish, you let me finish. But if it's 8 people on the screen, then you might get crazy and say some shit for the attention. You're what?
Gets lost in the sauce. Yeah, stuff gets lost in the sauce. Yeah.
I went back and I said, I think what happened was I made a comment about Dennis Rodman. I said there's a lot of players back in the day and in this era they couldn't even play. And then I said like Dennis Rodman would struggle to be himself in this era. What? So all people heard was people couldn't play in this era, and then they heard Dennis Rodman. But I said he would struggle to be himself. I just think there's no way he wouldn't struggle. I wanted to ask, well, name your top 20 players to this year, this season alone. Name your top 20 players. You ain't got to name them all. I guarantee none of them are all defense and no offense. Guarantee it.
Yeah, guarantee it. There's very little guys like that anymore. Those guys have been really phased out. Like Draymond is an anomaly. You're not going to find a Draymond Green on a lot of other teams. They just don't have it like that. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about peak Draymond, what he brought, when they were at the peak of that dynasty, right? You're not going to find a lot of guys in the league like that. They try to duplicate that subtly, right? Like even Bam subtly has the same kind of effect on the defensive end and initiating offense for Miami. So they try to mimic who Draymond is in terms of Bam's skill set. But there's very few guys that embrace playing defense first and getting there and figuring out their offense second. And I think just momentarily, Fabe, that is kind of why Bam isn't as aggressive as you may want him to be. I think the focus is so much on how talented he is on the defensive end. He's made an all defensive team since his rookie year. Like it's super impressive how good he's been defensively since he's a rookie till now. So I think that he's just now figuring out. He averaged 20 and 10 this year. So he's figuring out that, hey, shit, I'm talented. I could get busy on the offensive end. So I'm just asking, give him a little grace, Fabian. He's been to the finals twice already. He's a young player. Like once he figures out who he really is.
We'll get there in a second. Because he definitely ain't never cracking no top 10 centers of all time. That's not ever gonna happen. I don't see that.
No, I will never say that.
So Kareem, Shaq, Hakeem.
Yes. Yep.
Moses
Yep.
Malone is not talked about enough. David Robinson. Moses Malone gave Kareem the business. David Robinson, Patrick Ewing.
Swept him. Swept him.
Fo. David
Fo.
Robinson, Patrick Ewing. He's top
I
10
don't
centers
know.
all time.
Who?
Patrick
I don't
Ewing.
know if okay. I guess that would be disrespectful. I guess.
Not disrespectful. Is
And you know
super
I'm a Knicks fan. I
talented.
love Pat. I love Pat. Pat's
I went.
missing a few things that top 10 centers, all top 10 centers have. He's missing a few things. One or the other. Every
Well,
top
he
10
didn't
center
get.
for the most part, every top 10 center for the most part has at least, at the bare minimum, at least an MVP, at least a finals MVP, at least a championship, and at least a defensive player of the year award. All top 10 centers that we're going to name have at least one of those, if not a collection of those awards. Pat doesn't have not one. So it's
He doesn't.
tough.
But I'm fine with him being number 10. If you want to,
Okay.
Willis Reed didn't have enough. I don't think he had enough of a tenure. But from what I've seen, first of all,
the captain was
great
like
at
that.
again at his peak, and he had an immediate impact on the league. He moved from the 4 to the 5, so and he was moving like the way he was doing back then was incredible. But he doesn't have enough. He doesn't have 7 seasons. His peak was his peak, and it's just like you can compare that with Joker right now. Bill Walton wouldn't make it for the same exact reason. People hate when I say that. You guys overrate Bill Walton's career, NBA career. He was not a top 10 center of all time. You're bugging. How can I say, how can we struggle putting Willis Reed in there and just throw Bill Walton off of what? His peak? Again, this is why I'm saying that Joker can't be top 5 because he's had 4 seasons like this. It's not if he has 6, 7, different story.
Bill Walton, I'm very hard on Bill Walton. I'm the guy that you ask, should Bill Walton be in the Hall of Fame? I tell you no. Like I'm
no,
that
well,
guy.
you can't say that. Well, but you can't say
No,
that.
but I'm that
because
guy. I'm just telling you who I am. I'm that guy.
Right, but
right?
I can change your I can change your mind in an instant. Bill Walton has to be in the Hall of Fame because he kept the streak alive with UCLA winning. He went to the league and he won immediately and when after the merger. He was a great 6-man, but he only has like 4 or 5 great seasons in the league. The reason why he makes it is because of his college years. Because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
You know, and that goes to the point that I'm about to make right now. Like you said a lot that I really didn't care about. I'll be honest with you. I still don't feel like Bill Walton's a Hall of Fame. I love you to death, Faye, but I really don't. You did nothing to change my mind right now. And those are impressive things that he's done for the game of basketball. I just don't think that he played at a high peak level for long enough to be talked about the way that he's talked about. And again, it is the Basketball Hall of Fame, which I wish there would be some kind of breakdown where we could like the NBA Hall of Fame, right? Because you know that the Basketball Hall of Fame, everybody gets in. Everybody gets in.
So, but part of that is because of your contribution internationally. Like Oscar Schmidt, he's going to get in there. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I think he's in already.
You should look that up. But Bill Walton is the prototype to Joker. Willis Reed is kind of that too. Now, Bill Cartwright is not Oh the Great. Did you see that when Oh the Great went crazy? And so he said somebody.
Said Bill Cartwright was a great passer.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
Was an elite passer.
He was even funnier. I dare any one of you to YouTube Bill Cartwright passing highlights. Bill Cartwright assists. Look for his passes on the internet. They don't even exist. You can't find them. The point is, Vlade Divac is amazing in the 90s. I've seen the videos. Shout out to Scoot. Send it to me again. It's still not quite Joker. Still not quite Joker. they are prototypes to Joker. Vlade Divac was never going to be in the top 10 conversation, top 20, top 30 conversation of centers. I don't think so. I don't think he cracks top 30. I understand George Mike and he changed the game. He didn't have 10, 15 seasons like this to dominate. Joker, I'm trying to think of other guys who have a chance here because we named Kareem, Shaq, Hakeem, Wilt, Moses Malone, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Joker. That's 8. Who are we going to mention? Rick Smits?
No.
Dwight Howard?
Yes.
No way.
You're going to deny a 4-time defensive player of the year? 3-time? 4-time, I think. Excuse me.
So how do you disqualify? How do you disqualify Bill Walton?
I don't. He's just not in my top 10. I told you. I told you that's why I didn't want to do a list, a numerical, chronological list. I just wanted to do a group. Top 10.
Does it? Right, but in this top 10 group, Dwight Howard is cracking your top 10 easily with 6 good years.
6 good years?
How many years did he have that were great?
But guys are not playing at their peak for 10 straight years, 15. This is not, everybody's not LeBron James, Fabian. Cut it out. Everybody's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No, I'm not saying
Patrick
that.
Ewing didn't have 15 great years. Neither did Dream. Neither did Shaq.
Are you
the guys just not 15, 12 straight? What is
it
that?
It was like 12.
12
I can't remember
years.
He was drafted 84. He's in the finals of 94, 95. 12 seasons of greatness.
And 86. 86 in the finals.
And 86.
They forget about that.
I forgot, even though he got kicked out of a finals game. He was nuts.
Yeah,
so
he was a lunatic. Yo, Dream was a lunatic.
To get kicked out of a finals game is crazy. Sounds crazy, right? He got kicked out of a finals game in the 80s.
Yeah. Dream is a lunatic, yo.
He's a different level.
And that's before he got his mind together. But yo, coming into the league, Dream will punch you in your face and then ask questions after.
We still have yet to list 10 of these guys.
I'm gonna name some guys that should be thought about. Dwight Howard should be thought about. Alonzo Mourning should be thought about. Dikembe Mutombo should be thought about.
Dikembe Mutombo had like 12 straight great seasons, but he's pretty much a one.
You're drunk. Fucking drunk. 12 straight seasons of greatness from Dikembe Mutombo.
He was a great defensive player. Like that's what he was gonna give me. That's what he was.
So
and now
you're singing
another guy,
Mutombo's praises, but I say Dwight Howard and you scoff at that.
He had 6.
The nerve of you. The nerve of you.
You guys would rather compete for a championship or win one championship, 2 championships in 10 years. I'd rather compete for 10 straight. Give me that.
His teams were not competing for championships.
One
team he was on.
Right, but he was competing
so
for
Dwight
defensive.
Howard.
He was competing for defensive. He was competing for defensive player of the year every year.
So
every year. Not every year. It was 6 years, and that's it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. If he had 8, okay.
The fact that you're diminishing Dwight Howard right now.
I'm not diminishing. Why do you guys turn it into diminishing? Okay, so let's go to
because you wanna marvel over Bill Walton bum ass.
I didn't marvel over him. I don't have him on top. He might be top 10, but you can't put Bill Walton top 10 over.
I said Dwight Howard has. I threw Zoe out there. What about Zoe?
Hold on, Dwight Howard is 5-time all defense. When did he officially really get rocked out? Because look, his rookie season is 5-time all, yeah. They have to be all first team. 8-time all NBA. Nah, that's amazing. No. Dwight Howard is 8-time all NBA. Nah, that's crazy.
First team, probably.
I take that back. I'm sorry.
First team all NBA. Right. 8 times in a row. At one time, the center position was his for like a few years. Nobody else was getting that. Come on, bro.
8-time All NBA is very impressive to have him out there doing that.
He was a defensive stalwart. Like you could be awful on the defensive end and knew that Dwight Howard was gonna make a few mistakes.
Yeah,
Let him beat you.
That's what
They had him mic'd up. Let him beat you. And get to the rim and punch that shit to the 12th row.
And that's why I can't have. That wasn't his rookie season. Okay, that was his third season for Bill Walton. Yeah, his third season he won a championship, but it was only 4 great seasons. That's the difference with these centers. If Dwight Howard had 6 to 7 great years, I gotta rank him above Bill Walton just off that. I'd rather have 7 great years from your guy than 4. Period. But they're on the cusp. Both of those guys for me are on the cusp of top 10. Like Patrick Ewing is not on the cusp, even though I don't think he has as many all defensive teams as nowhere near it as Dwight Howard.
He might not. I don't know how many Pat has. He's never first team. He's never been first team.
Right.
But definitely maybe he made a couple second teams, but never first team.
Who else is in this list? Oh, whoa. How close is Joel Embiid?
Yeah, not yet.
We don't have Joel Embiid in there. Bill Russell is a must too, by the way.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
Out of respect.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, this is his 7th season. That's it. All right, because he was injured for his first 2. But these are 7 great seasons.
What about Wes Unseld?
He was more one-sided, right? He wasn't on and he was like I know he had the quarterback passes. He was more one-sided.
If you ask the generation before us, they'll feel like we disrespecting Wes by not saying Wes. So
he's top 20, maybe top 25. I say top 30 to be honest. Because then look,
whoa now.
What? Look, because you can't say Wes Unseld's better than Artis Gilmore. Speaking of your guy, can't say that. Joel Embiid got a lot of great seasons. 5-time All NBA, 2016 All Rookie. Embiid is on the cusp of top 20, top 25 centers of all time with ease. I can't believe I didn't mention Bill Russell, but Bill Russell is definitely in this conversation.
Bill Russell has to be in this conversation.
Right. Like there's no way of impact alone, leadership, all that shit matters. David, and that's the thing with David Robinson and Patrick Ewing. They weren't. David Robinson got the MVP. I get that, even though we think Akeem Olajuwon deserved it. Never had a Finals MVP, right?
Dave, no. Dave's never been the best player on a championship team. Dave didn't start winning until Tim came.
And Joker doesn't have that problem.
Joker's the best player on his team.
And arguably the best player in the league, which David Robinson never was either. None of us ever thought David Robinson was the best.
5-time All-Star. Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. Finals MVP. Rebounding champion. Has a title. That's Wes Unseld I'm talking about. Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. That's fire. NBA. That's fire, Fabian.
1969, 12 seasons. They didn't have All NBA. They didn't count that All NBA back then. Oh, yeah, he has one All NBA.
One All NBA.
Just one? Did he get hurt?
Nah.
It's Bill Walton, bro. It's the points go down. His rebounds He got hurt in 1970, 73, 74. He was a defensive guy. Look how his
I
rebounding
mean,
dropped.
I mean,
Not to say
maybe
he's not a
West.
great, but
Yeah, maybe West is
top 25, top 30, probably maybe top 40. But again, he's not keeping Joker out of the top 10. The only guys that have a chance right now is Dwight Howard, Bill Walton, and B can't keep him out. Alonzo Mourning, maybe.
I said Zoe. You need to
Yeah,
mention
right.
Zoe.
No, I won't only mention him because you mentioned him.
Yeah, I think we need to
He
mention
plays
Zoe.
92, 93
Ben
All
Wallace.
Rookie, 2-time All NBA, 2-time All Defensive. There's no way Ben Wallace is the top 15 center of all time.
I'm just saying, I'm throwing guys out there for us to discuss. Ben is a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year at the center position. Those guys need to be talked about.
Okay.
Jack Sikma.
Jack Sigma's another guy who's kind of forgotten about. The Milwaukee, he won with Seattle, and he had not carry, but he.
Bob Lanier was tough. Y'all like paying homage to all these old niggas.
I mean, I'll pay homage.
I'll
pay homage if it's due.
All these old niggas.
No, you do not. No, well, it costs you Aldis Gilmore, but Bob Lanier. It's not like he's what's my guy's name on the Celtics in the 70s? Like Dave Cowens was a power forward or a center.
Dave. I mean, they counted Dave as a center back in the day. Dave is another one. Dave was an MVP.
Dave Cowens is. Dave Cowens was serious.
He was serious. He was serious.
I don't know if he's top 10 though.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But this is what we said. This is what we said. We said Shaq. We said Kareem. We said
Hakeem.
Wilt. We said Hakeem. We said these are all locks. Moses.
Bill Russell.
That's 5. Bill Russell.
David Robinson, Patrick Ewing.
David Robinson, Patrick Ewing. That's 8.
And 9 and 10 is really up for grabs, to be honest with you. And Joker, I think Joker might be the 9th greatest center with a definite right now. Definite right now. I don't see how.
I feel like we're leaving somebody out right now that is like just plain as day, and I can't call it. But I feel like we're leaving somebody out that's plain as day.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is. I might be overrating or underselling Joker's. He's been killing for the last 1, 2, 3, 4. His last 5 seasons.
He was 14. He was 14 and a half a game as a rookie, I think. Right? You got his number. You got his numbers up.
Yeah, he's at 10 points per game.
Oh, 10, yeah, he was 10 and 7. He was 10 and 7, right? How many rebounds a game? 10 and 7, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the big for Portland, Nurkic?
Nurkic.
They got Nurkic the fuck out of it. They got him out of Denver.
Yeah. Was that Masai Ujiri? Or was that after him?
Nah, that's Masai. That's Masai.
Okay. So it looks like this.
No,
it looks like
that's Tim Connolly. That's Connolly. That's the GM that's in Minnesota right now.
Okay. So it looks like when he started averaging, he's been averaging 10 boards since his second year in the league because he averaged 9.8.
Mm-hmm. But Fabian, fuck all that. Look at his assist numbers.
2, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Damn near 10 this year.
Come on. From the 5 position, from your big.
He's a first point center of all time.
Controlling everything.
Imagine when
he starts blocking shots, right? Imagine when he starts blocking shots. Imagine when he comes back next year in shape, right? Drops a couple more pounds, does something different over the offseason, right? Comes back because he wants the MVP. He's pissed off. I don't care what nobody said. He's pissed off that he didn't get that 3rd MVP in a row. So he's going to come back next year off of winning the championship. Svelte. in shape, better
He's a front runner.
defensively. What if he?
I think he's underrated defensively now, and he's just playing really, really
Yeah,
smart.
I mean, a guy his size has no choice but to be able to put his hands up and be able to move and play quarterback like Draymond does, pointing out shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he does a lot of that shit, just playing center field. Because I mean, there ain't but many bigs that you got to play, head up against.
So he's definitely top. He's number 9. I don't see Robert Parrish is not as good as this, and that's the fact that he has over all these guys to be able to run the offense. Like I'm dribbling the ball, I'm handing it off, setting the pick, getting the ball back, reading the defense. Like
I start
he's
the break.
magic jump.
You could give me the ball and I will start the break.
Yeah, I mean a lot
Get
of
my
guys can
guys.
do that though. A lot of
Yeah,
these
but he
guys can
does
do
it
that.
as at an elite level because he knows when to give the ball up. He knows how to get his guys in position. He's gonna find Bruce Brown for a corner 3 in transition. He's gonna find Aaron Gordon for an easy dunk in transition. He's gonna find Michael Porter Jr. for a nice short corner jumper in transition. He's gonna find Jamal Murray trailing the play for a pull-up 3 in transition, right? Joker's gonna do all of that. All of that. There's not a guy on this list that we named right now that does anything like that.
No center. Bill Walton comes close. Vlade Divac comes close.
Vlade was a
No
hell of a
center.
passer.
No center has that floor vision full court at that changing speeds as fast as he can go. No center. That's the difference between him and running the offense. That he's at 9 right now. How does he leave? He can a championship or even another MVP next year. Another year like this for me. I don't care about I don't count chips like that. Another year like this,
Fabian,
he's leapfrogging. He's
how old
leapfrogging
is
Patrick
this?
Ewing.
How old is this
27.
kid?
27.
27 years old. He's 28, excuse me. He's 28 years old in his 8th year in the league. What? Let's just say for the next 5 years, Denver's in the mix. 4 years. Let's say 4 years. The team is in the mix. They may not win back-to-backs, but they'll be like a San Antonio type team in the mix, contention. They may get another one in another year, right? He gets another one. Still is first team All-NBA for the next 4 seasons. Grabs another MVP. Who else? What we don't know what other kind of accolades he'll grab, from now to 5 years from now. Because 5 years from now he'll be in the league 13 years. The resume starts looking, come, let me sit next to you, Dream. I mean, you ain't what Dream was defensively, but let me sit next to you, Dream. Patrick Ewing, get the fuck out of my way. Excuse me. David Robinson, pardon me.
They're out of here. He's gonna be top.
They're out of here.
He's top 7 by December. They're gonna go. Oh yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's
like,
over.
bye, Patrick. Nah, this is year 9. You're done with.
Yeah.
Now you have Bill Russell, Moses,
and I hear the piece. I hear the piece that you was talking about length of time. So let's just say he gets to year 12. That would be maybe 8 years of just peak Joker. You leapfrogging some guys now.
Well, this is where how do you leapfrog either Bill Russell, Moses, Wilt, Akeem, Shaq, and Kareem? Like you can argue against Wilt.
I don't think you can.
It's gonna be tough because
I don't think you can't ever leapfrog Shaq. There's guys. I think there's guys on the list that don't think he can leapfrog. Shaq being one of them, Chamberlain being another one of them, Russell being another one.
And that's like, again, but I gotta disagree with that because the thing about I think people misquote themselves or they express it the wrong way when they think or with Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell, they didn't play anybody, right? They didn't. They didn't play enough people because it was 8, 9 teams. I always use this argument. Jokers have going through the same thing right now. If they, if Bill Russell and Joker played in 90s and 80s, it's a different story because now you have all kinds
100%.
of centers you have to go up against. So that's what they're gonna have to really. It's always gonna be a hypothetical with them. But Bill Russell is one sided. Bill Russell's one sided, and Joker is one sided. If
I
they
just feel
remain
like,
one sided, then what?
yeah, I just feel like there was an era where it was a big man era, right? That Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and Kareem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Rick Smits, uh, you know, Vlade Divac. We could go on and on and on about the
Brad
big man.
Doherty.
Brad Doherty. Brad Doherty's a multiple-time All-Star. That Cleveland team, had they not run into Michael Jordan, might be a champion, right? So there's a lot of team. I mean, there's a lot of players. We keep forgetting Moses. Let's not forget we have Moses on the list. We didn't say Moses a
He's
little
the
while ago.
guy. He's the guy. It's
And that's
Moses.
your guy. That's your guy. So how does Joker leapfrog
I don't
Moses?
know. I don't. But listen,
He's got
Kareem.
everything Moses has now.
For me, it's easier to leapfrog even Akeem Olajuwon. For me, Akeem Olajuwon was not disciplined early on. He may have cost his team because of it. And if you had, and he was a great two-way player. So that's Hakeem is tough.
Imagine if
Hakeem,
Dream has that champ. Imagine if Dream beats. Listen to this. Imagine if Dream and Sampson beat that '86 Celtic team. Woo! And have the back-to-back championships. So you beat arguably one of the greatest teams of all time. People talk about that '86 Celtic team like it's one of the best.
'86 championship team. Like it's one of the best. I mean, that's who they do talk about. So 96 Bulls, 86 Celtics. I don't know why, like, which one of those Magic teams get mentioned as one of the best ever. And then, like, nobody mentions any 70s. Oh, only 70s teams that get mentioned as the best ever are the Knicks. Or the Knicks teams, who were a super team, by the
Yeah,
way, because they had
yeah.
Earl I forgot to mention that, by
Black,
the way. I would love the Bradley yeah, the original Black Jesus. Was that Black Jesus? Or
yeah, Black Jesus. Yeah, that's original Black Jesus.
that would be a crazy swap for the Knicks. I forgot to mention that because it would be going back to Black Jesus
Very reminiscent
with Brad
of Clyde Frazier and
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 Bradley
Earl of Pearl. Yeah,
with
with
Bradley
Jalen
Beal
Brunson and
and Brunson.
yeah, that's very
So
reminiscent. And everybody
so
said that couldn't work back then. Fave, if you go back, like looking at like news articles and what the media was talking about when that happened, people said that wasn't going to work, and we got a championship out of it.
shout out to Jason Levin because I asked him, was it similar to? Because remember the Bullets and the Knicks had a rivalry back then. The
They
Bullets
had a
were
rivalry.
one of the all-time teams of the '70s, if not ever. Um, they Earl wasn't that Earl of Pearl leaving them and coming to the Knicks was like Kyrie leaving the Cavaliers and going to Golden State in 2016 or something like that. Like that's remember they have a rivalry. They're up for a
Yeah,
championship. So
yeah,
that was
yeah,
because
yeah.
he's the Jason Levin is the guy studying the NBA. Shout out to Jason Levin. He always talks. I met him through Dime Dropper. He always talks about like he knows about the ABA crazy. And I asked him about that, like, because I'm trying to imagine like what it will feel like for Earl of Pearl coming to New York at that time. But going back to Joker, those are the guys. Like he's like that's what we project for him. Even with Dwight Howard, we didn't project that with him. Defensively, he was going to be there with Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe
We're
Mutombo.
missing out on somebody that I just thought about, who is a top 75 player, who is a champion, who doesn't have all the individual accolades, but the dude is a five man and he's a top 75 player. Anthony Davis. Where does Anthony Davis fall? I mean, that's a hard conversation, but where does he fall?
There's no way I'm starting my team with Anthony Davis over Joker.
Okay,
These
that's
last
fair.
six seasons, Joker's your lead guy,
Yeah,
point center.
we've
Where's Anthony Davis?
yeah.
Anthony Davis is a typical center who needs the sidekick to get him going. Even though we're like, bro, you move like a guard.
Anthony Davis
He's
is a top
supposed to be the original Joker. Actually,
fave. Anthony Davis is a top 75 player, and we did not even mention his name while we're talking about top bigs of all time. Didn't even
I
mention his
might
name.
I might delete this portion for you to mention Anthony Davis. Get him out of here. He might not
Get
be a
him out
top
of here.
75. He might need to get reneged for that. Him, George Mikan.
I'm not comfortable with him being on that list. I'll just tell you that right now. Him or Damian Lillard. That's me. That's me.
Well,
Not
Dame,
comfortable being.
it was supposed to be Kyrie, they said. So I think we're stuck there where Joker is up against those gods. This is the
Yeah.
god level of centers. And it'll be tough to see him do this because, and again, Akeem's the only one that won without that real all-star superstar next to him, right?
Yep.
Moses needed
Yep.
one, Wilt needed one,
Moses had Dr.
Kareem needed
J.
one, Shaq definitely
Yep.
needed 2 or 3 of them. Bill Russell got, I guess, Sam Jones, not Cousy later.
Ton
It
of
was
players. Ton of players. Ton of
Havlicek,
players.
yeah,
Sam Jones, Havlicek. Ton of players. Ton of
right.
guys.
Joker won
Tommy
it.
Heinsohn. Yeah.
He's in the Akeem category where I didn't
Yeah.
have a super duper guy next to me,
Because
guys, and I won.
Jamal Murray may well ascend into an all-star, but presently he's not. And Joker's getting it done.
So we broke that down. Is he a top center already? And what does he have to do to get there? It's gonna be tough. Just keep doing what you're doing, kid. Triple double away.
Yeah. He's on the way.
And they won the championship.
Yeah.
Which
He's on the way.
they were gonna be a crazy matchup for the Heat to begin with. But that's where me and you had a crazy back and forth every day with the Miami Heat. Is anyone to blame in Miami?
Yeah, I think this is how we wrap this up. This friendly fire.
Yeah.
Listen. I
True
think there's
friendly
a
fire.
lot of yeah.
You asked, I'm sorry, you asked, is there anyone to blame? And is Pat Riley or Spo to blame for not surrounding Jimmy Butler with better talent?
Yeah. I mean, it's a fair question now. Injuries, yes. Tyler Hero went down. That's a piece. Oladipo was playing really good for them this year. That's another piece, right? So they had some key perimeter guys, some ball handlers, some perimeter defenders, right? Some guys that went down. So does that team look different with a Tyler Hero and a Victor Oladipo fully healthy going into the playoffs? And they look different. They definitely look different. But I just think that I'm going to stand on this. Jimmy Butler is a really, really good player. He is not a number one guy that's going to take you to the promised land. Now, have they got to the finals? Yes. But each week, there's evidence now. Every time he's got his team to the finals, he's run out of gas, or he just doesn't have enough in his bag to take them over the hump. We threw out Bradley Beal being a guy that can help. We threw, there's other names out there. Damian Lillard is getting thrown out there. Somebody else, another alpha, another guy you could get a rock to and say, yo, go get me a bucket. When Jimmy runs out of stuff that he can reach in his toolbox, you start seeing Miami sputter. And now you looking for Gabe Vincent to give you offense. And now you looking for Caleb Martin to turn up. And now you want motherfucking Duncan Robinson to become Grant Hill. No, so that's my problem with Miami is that they don't put him in a position to get that heralded championship that they want. They right there. Go get the next piece. Riley is notorious for throwing out bad deals every now and then. That's a whole nother conversation. We could talk about the Dion Waiters of the world that gets money from Pat Riley, Hassan Whiteside that gets money from Pat Riley, right? Like there's guys out there that just have got some bad deals from Pat Riley because he's just taking a chance. Take a chance, Pat. Go find a guy that you could put next to Jimmy Butler that's not Bam. because we have all this responsibility for Bam, and then he gets slandered by Fabian regularly. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Jimmy Butler, if I'm not mistaken, he missed a finals game in 2020. Or am I bugging?
He was there for all 6. He had 40 in the finals that series. There's a game he had 40. He carried them, I think, game 4, I want to say.
In 2020?
Yeah. Against the Lakers.
I'm looking it up now.
What game he had 40?
Game 3.
Game 3. Okay.
Okay. I thought he missed the game. I didn't think about it until now. And as you were talking, Pat Riley is definitely to blame for not surrounding Jimmy Butler with someone who makes the job easier, especially when you know Bam Adebayo is not going to do it. He's not going to be a number 2 on offense, because defensively he's their number 1. He's probably number 1 on a bunch of people's teams. He got about 90% of the league teams.
Mm-hmm.
But you got it, like, he gets gassed. Like, this is not new for Jimmy Butler, because is what we're saying. This is the struggle when we ask, yo, is Jimmy Butler a superstar? He ain't built like LeBron. He ain't built like Kevin Durant. He ain't built like Giannis. Not built like a Joker. Steph Curry. Well, Steph was kind of in this category in the playoffs where you can body him. There's a game plan for him, but he figures his way out. He can shoot. He has a super talent. Jimmy Butler's not super at anything.
Steph's first ring and the last ring that he won let me know I can rely on Steph and put Steph in a position. Take me there. Please take me there.
Right.
And he'll take me there. So I just Jimmy doesn't, and even during the regular season, right? Even during the regular season, you get glimpses of guys that can, go on an 8 to 10 game stretch. Those guys that win player of the month, right? Not player of the week. No, pay attention to the guys that win player of the month, right? That go 30 days of just straight work, right? Pay attention to those guys. And Tatum is that type of guy. LeBron, that type of guy. Embiid, that type of guy. Steph, that type of guy. KD, Giannis, Joker, those are those type of guys. I don't know if Jimmy's not that guy for me.
Especially in the regular season, but the playoff, he's playoff Jimmy. We're calling him that for a reason.
What matters.
I don't know if this.
That's what matters.
I don't know if there's anyone else that we have in this category. I've yet to hear a great answer from anyone.
He's a unique, in terms of because I always felt like at one point him and DeMar DeRozan were right here, right? But then I always paid attention that DeMar, being the best player on the Toronto team, just really ran into Braun in them. They just could never get past Braun in them. So I always felt like DeMar got slighted as being one of those number 1 guys. I always felt like he could take another step, but it's clear that Jimmy is just an inch or 2 better, right? He can turn that switch and go to another level in the playoffs. I've yet to see DeMar DeRozan be able to take it up another notch and play, on another level in the playoffs. So
and that's why Golden State. That's why Golden State got Kevin Durant. They're gonna make this thing easier for Steph Curry. That's why the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. There is no second guy for Jimmy Butler especially on offense. Nobody's making the game easier for him. And I guess he was missing Tyler Hero. That was my beef with that's why it was a great question. Is Pat Riley to blame? It has to be, because I don't even think Tyler Hero and really Duncan Robinson is another guy I was trying to think of earlier. I have a Kyle Korver theory, or like a Kyle Korver barometer about people. Like Kyle Korver, I don't remember him hitting big shots, and every time I watched him, he would always miss in crunch time. Always.
Yeah, you wasn't catching him in the right spots.
You're gonna tell me
Kyle was a hell of a shooter.
he's one of the greatest shooters of all time, but he's one of these shooters that for some reason, every time I watched him, every time, I don't care what team he was on, he missed plenty of crunch time shots. And
But you
I
seen
think
Mike Miller hit a bunch of big shots, right?
Mike Miller's different. Mike Miller,
right, exactly. You
I
said
think Mike Miller could create his own shot way better than Kyle
right.
Korver could in his prime.
I
Different
agree with that.
story.
100. Mike Miller was like a basketball player, not just a shooter. Like he was a hell of a shooter, but Mike Miller, he'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? He'll get busy with
Yeah,
you. So
yeah.
yeah,
So there was none of that. There was no Mike Miller there for Jimmy Butler.
yeah,
The spacing, they like, and then you ran into Denver 6'4". Everybody in their lineup is 6'4" or better. Aaron Gordon comes
yeah.
in the lineup, changes everything. It was a
Right.
matchup problem from the beginning. I said I can't see them having a chance with this lineup. I got them before the one, and a big part of that reason, if it was Jimmy Butler, we're dishing out the blame. Pat Riley's number one for not surrounding them with enough talent, for not foreseeing another championship when you guys been to a championship. We're a shot away from making a championship last year. They were a
Yeah.
jump shot from guess who? Jimmy Butler. I think he missed.
Yeah.
I think he missed the game in last year's conference finals, and that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, he missed that shot in Game 7, right off the front rim or the back rim. It was a good look too.
He hit 13 straight points in the fourth quarter of this finals, this last game that they played against. Playoff Jimmy is real. They didn't make the game easier for them.
He's real. He's real. I think he's another guy that needs, because the game got easier when they were hitting shots. You got to defend Duncan Robinson when he's hitting shots. When Gabe Vincent gets hot, when Max Strus gets hot, when when Caleb Martin starts hitting shots, you got to defend them. And so now the floor opens up. And so now Jimmy could get busy in the paint, because he's a guy that wants to attack the rim. He doesn't want to do too much on the perimeter. He doesn't want to be a volume jump shooter. He wants to get to the basket and get to the free throw line. When they're hitting shots, he's able to do that. Especially when Bam is initiating the offense, you got shooters all around the wing, and Jimmy is able to, mix it up in the paint. You got, that's a recipe for success. And that's how they was able to beat Milwaukee. They beat us like that. They beat Boston like that. They just ran into a better team, and they didn't hit shots. They didn't hit shots this series. They hit shots this series. It's a different series, to be honest.
Well, they're not hitting shots against the Denver Nuggets, who are 6'4" and better. The way they rotate, right. You got two guys who can turn it up a notch. Miami on offense, Miami didn't have that. Especially
they didn't have.
They had one guy. That's my point. Jimmy Butler was one guy, and every other player. We just went over the fact that Joker didn't. He's kind of like Akeem, where he doesn't have that other guy on his team to turn up like that. Akeem didn't have. So Jimmy Butler didn't have a guy to turn up like that on offense and make the game easier for him. That's what I'm saying about.
Get you 50 now. Murray, go get you 50 in the playoffs now.
Right. So they had two guys that can do that.
Burger. Yeah.
The Heat didn't have that, and that was a major reason why. And I just, yes, Jimmy Butler's gonna be the first one to get all the blame, but I'm just not overlooking Bam Adebayo, who both of them, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, shot over 50% in the regular season and shot at 40% in the finals in those 5 games, 40%. And Bam started off hot, 50% in the first 2 games. But you gotta credit the Nuggets. Maybe, just maybe, the Nuggets were that damn good. It's Jimmy Butler's fault and Bam's fault.
I think the Nuggets, it was just the Nuggets' year this year. Everything fell in the right place. They were healthy all season long. They dealt with no injuries, right? No bullshit. Like they were just, and they were really good. Maintained the number 1 seed in the Western Conference all year long. Like they, I hate the word that people use now, but they deserve to win. I don't like that deserve to win. I don't think anybody deserves to win. You got to play the games to win. But in terms of how they prepared and did everything that they needed to do for the season, I think that to culminate it with a championship just made sense for them. I'm going to leave you with this. Miami has to be a player this summer with Brad Beal, Damian Lillard, getting some other guys that can shoot the basketball. We talked about Buddy Hield. Kyle Kuzma is a guy that is going to be a free agent. there's guys out there that I think they need to take a look at to help them get to that next. Because guess what? Boston is coming back next year. Philly will be back. Giannis and Milwaukee are pissed off. They will be back. Our Knickerbockers, we will be back, right? Every team in the Eastern Conference, I feel like, will be better. So you just got to maintain who you are and just continue to get better. So that's where I'm at with it.
So I know we got to run. But oh wow, that was crazy. We do have Hollinger has Kyrie Irving as the number 1 free agent in this offseason.
Okay.
Does Miami? I don't know how much money they have. How would you feel about either Jimmy Butler? I'm sorry, James Harden, who's number 2 on his list, or Kyrie Irving going to Miami?
I don't like Jimmy in Miami. I don't like James Harden in Miami. I love this guy in Miami, Fred VanVleet first. Then I like Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving is Miami's the perfect place for Kyrie Irving to be. Right? Guys gonna call him out on the culture that they've built over for years. You think Kyrie Irving comes in there and tries to take over the culture that they've built?
Yes.
He can't do it. Try.
Then
try. We'll be talking about how Kyrie Irving is missing games and this and that next season if he tries to do that. He cannot overtake. There's certain places that brother can't go and rattle a foundation. Miami being one of them, the Spurs being another one. Like there's certain teams and organizations that have a sturdy foundation. We could say what we want about the Lakers. He's not gonna go to LA if he gets the opportunity to go to LA and be on and be on dumb out time. He's gonna have to be there and really be locked in. He could duck smoke in Dallas. The Dallas media ain't worried about Kyrie Irving, right? But you go to Los Angeles, that LA media wants to know about Kyrie Irving. Miami media wants to know about Kyrie Irving. Wherever he goes.
That's why I think Miami. How do you feel about Chris Middleton?
Chris Middleton is a good player. I think Chris Middleton, if Milwaukee is going to be out on him, which I get the feeling they are at some point in the near future, like now, there's contenders that would take him. Chris Middleton in Phoenix looks good. They need a guy like that in Phoenix, a shooter, a guy that's a capable defender, a champion, right? I think he would look perfect next to Kevin Durant and Booker. Look out for him there. There's Buddy Hield, another one. I keep saying your name, Buddy Hield, but Buddy Hield in Phoenix, I like that a lot. They're missing Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. I know you got to give that up to get Kevin Durant, but they're missing that terribly.
Especially when you had a new owner coming in, and that's what the play was. I wish the Knicks we could have drafted Mikal Bridges.
We could have. I would have loved to pick him.
I would love to get him now. It would cost too much, I think, and especially if the team they went to the championship with him, it would be. I don't know if we could go to the championship, but I would love Mikal Bridges, 2-way player. That's excellent
NBA player.
The Nets are another team that can really make noise with they are a super defensive team and then you add Middleton or
they get a piece.
Fleet.
They get a piece.
Yeah.
Go get Dame. There's a piece out there.
Yes.
That you add it, and it's just because they got guys that buy in. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, got a lot of young players over there. I think that we in for a good offseason, man.
Yeah, the Nets, and I forgot the Nets made the playoffs, so I think Dame on the Nets make a lot of sense too. And Miami, of course. All we live Flea, catch him on IG.
Fabian,
always interviewing somebody. a reputable, who we consider superstars in New York,
Yeah,
ball
yeah.
players. They just, you guys are the ones that really remind me about, what basketball is about, not just about nerd stats. Even though I do like the true shooting percentage, not gonna lie,
It's a hell
and
of
the
a
usage
stat. I
rate.
think it's a very good stat.
Me too. I love it. And
But yeah, man, weekly, man. Catch me on IG, man. I am fully locked in on storytelling and chronicling journeys. And I'm gonna continue to do that, man. You know how we do it.
well, you're welcome anytime here on Friendly Fire.
Look, I look forward to Friendly Fire, man. This is Friendly Fire with Flea. Say that 5 times fast.
Friendly Fire. I can't say it. I
No,
can't.
no, 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 no. That was
Friendly Fire with
rhetorical.
Flea.
That was rhetorical. Fake. Hey, can we get Max Struess up out of here? Drake's evil twin,
Can I tell
Keegan
you one that?
Murray.
No, I'm gonna tell you one that's crazy. My man Joe Rose.
What's
Shout
this?
out to Joe Rose
Shout out to
with
Joe Rose.
the crazy ether. He goes, "Yo, fuck out of here, Baker Mayfield." I said,
With the hat backwards right now, though, with the Oklahoma colors on.
"Bro, and then when he pulled the picture up, I was like, yo, that's crazy."
He got you out of here. He
I
got you out
couldn't
of
even
here.
laugh because I couldn't even laugh because it was shot. Friendly Fire with Flea. Say
Fabian
it
the
5
God.
times. He said.
I'm out of here,
Favorite
man.
perspective, Friendly Fire. It's late, and I'm glad he pulled up. It's
I
late
appreciate you
everywhere.
for having me, bro. You know how we
Nah,
do
of
it, man.
course, anytime. I'm gonna chop this up. You already know what's up, man.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah.